Minecraft 1.20, the Trails and Tales update, is bringing us the brand new cherry blossom biome, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love the trees, I love the wood, I love the grass color and all of the petals on the floor. It is magical. However, I do think it's missing some structures around, so today we're going to be building a Japanese inspired village in this wonderful cherry blossom biome. I've had a bit of a scour around the biome here, and I think right in this spot here is going to be a pretty good place to build. Obviously we're going to have to get rid of a lot of the trees, but as you can see it's pretty flat and should just make for a good base to build upon. We can kind of see my cherry house over here that I have a tutorial for on my channel, but as long as we can't see it from the village we'll be all good. It's not really going to be in this style, so I don't want to incorporate it into the village. But before we start placing in any blocks, I need to figure out what blocks I'm actually going to be using. Of course, cherry wood is going to be one of them. So here's what I'm working with at the moment. Of course, all of the cherry wood variants, along with some stone types, which I'm sure I'll use at some point in time. Spruce and dark oak, especially with the trapdoors, can't really go wrong with them. They pair it with basically any block in the game. And one of these three, cobbled deep slate, dark prismarine, or blackstone, will be the block we use for the roof. Haven't decided on which one just yet though. And I'm sure as we go on, I'll probably add in some more blocks as we build. I think first things first, I'm going to whip up a very small house in the style that I want to be going with, so I've got a pretty good idea of what the whole village is going to look like. I've made a few Japanese houses before in Minecraft, but this one right here is definitely my favorite, so I'm going to use this as a bit of a reference and source of inspiration. I'm not done yet, still making some changes. I'm just currently deciding whether I want to use dark oak wood or mangrove wood with all of these blocks here. And honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards the mangrove wood. I love the red color next to the pink cherry blossom. And dark oak, it's very overused in Minecraft. Not that that's a bad thing, but mangrove, it's new, it's fresh. I haven't really used it that much and I like it. Hopefully you guys do too, because this is the general idea of what a lot of our buildings are going to look like. Varying in size and shape, of course. I'm not even 100% sure if this building is staying put, so before I finish it entirely, I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to go ahead, clear out some of the trees, and maybe just plot out where a lot of the buildings are going to be going. Well, I have caused mass deforestation, which is fantastic, and there are saplings just about everywhere. The only thing I'm wondering is this a big enough area? I'm not building a giant village. I want to build a nice little small quaint one. It's a village, not a city, but I might need to be a bit bigger than this. So I'm just going to get rid of like all of the trees around here and we can always replant more after. Okay, we're finally getting somewhere now. I can almost envision what this is going to look like when we're done. As you can see, we don't have many houses. I think it's only 8 in total, which I'll probably do a couple more around the outskirts, but for now, it's all kind of centered around this large square in the middle, which eventually is going to be turned into a Japanese temple. It's going to be the same sort of structure as the other ones, except a lot bigger, taller for sure, and more grand in general. And then all of the houses can have pathways connecting to each other, all generally kind of leading into the middle. As though we're making a nice little community here where everybody knows everybody and they can all gather at the temple and do temple-y things. I should mention, and I hope it's obvious, but we are going to be building more than just some houses and a temple. When I make custom villages like this, I tend to have a bit of an order that I do everything in. And the first step is always to get the main structures in position. So I'm going to take the block palette that we have over here and the general style of the house and repeat it for the other ones we've laid out here. And then after, we can work on the big temple in the center. I've finished all 8 of the houses, and as you can see, they are very, very similar in style as intended. Of course, the shape and size of them differs. Some are taller than others, some have extra little bits of roof coming off to the side, others have chimneys, others have another part of a building attached to it rather than just a single cuboid. You get the idea. They are similar but different enough. And overall, we have something that is slowly coming together to actually look like a proper village, which is awesome. I'm still kind of tempted to add in a couple more buildings, but I'll wait until we get some other stuff built, such as the big temple in the center. So I'm going to take some big inspiration from my Japanese house that I referenced in the start of this video. I like the stone base of that, and as you can see, that's what I've already kind of got going on for this build here. So it's probably going to end up looking very similar to that build, I'll be honest, but we'll try and make it look slightly different so it's not just a carbon copy with the blocks changed. Look at this temple. We have a triple tiered roof, lots of open windows with plenty of cherry wood, a beautiful stone base keeping it very solid, nice and sturdy, definitely not going to fall in any sort of battle. All in all, really happy with this build. I am loving the cherry wood. So with the temple now done, that is all of the main structures finished, with the exception of a couple of smaller ones I might get to later. And what I like to do once I finish all of the houses and that sort of thing is actually connect them up with pathways. I think I'm going to go with the classic path blocks. I wouldn't really be too fussed about a block like this, but it is literally that 1 pixel below the grass which I just love about the path blocks. If I didn't have that, I honestly would probably never use them, but the little indentation into the ground, I think it's just perfect and you really can't go wrong with it. Now you may notice I have some bamboo blocks here on my hotbar, and that was because these were a very close second for the pathway design. A wonderful builder by the name of Phelps has also made a video just like I'm making here, where they built their own rendition of a Japanese inspired cherry blossom biome village. And for their pathways they use bamboo blocks, and I just thought it was super creative and honestly looks great. But it specifically looks great with the blocks that they're using. I don't think it exactly works for mine, but I did just want to highlight the fact that I think this is really cool and just give a general point of direction to you guys to maybe go check out that video too after you finish with this one. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. Little tip if you're making pathways in your world, you don't need to build the whole pathway all at once. You can do what I've kind of done here and just plot out the general direction and way that the pathways are going to follow. And then once you got that in, you can expand it outwards or mix in other blocks or whatever you want to do with them. That way it saves you trying to figure out how big you want them to be, what blocks you want to use, whilst trying to figure out where they're actually going to go all at the same time. The pathways are now done, connecting up all of the houses with each other as well as the temple in the middle. And you may notice I have a couple of other pathways just kind of shooting off outside of the village boundaries. And that's because I'm going to count these as the entranceway to the village, both of them. And you know what makes for a great entranceway to a Japanese village? A torii gate. I'm well aware the pronunciation is probably wrong there, but I have no idea how else to say it. Come on guy, do a good example. Go through the gate, show the people how it works. Okay, he's not going to do it. So this is how it works. You just go through the gate. Simple as that. I think it looks really cool, actually. So we have this one over here, and of course the other one by the other entrance over here. Once again, I'm just loving the cherry wood. It looks glorious. No matter what I build, it's just beautiful. It's such a nice color. So we have all of the houses. We've got the pathways and our entrances and exits. Now I think I'm just going to go around and add in any other smaller builds that aren't exactly the size of a house, but not just a tiny little detail. For example, this adorable little well, as well as these beautiful bonsai trees, not forgetting the wagon over here too, or this small cart design, or this even smaller cart design carrying some new decorated pots. I may add more, but you get the idea. We do still have quite a lot of empty gaps which I want to fill in with something. A lot of that will be taken up by some more cherry blossom trees that we'll plant around here. Due to the deforestation, there's not many at the moment. But we'll of course get some of them planted down. But I think a great thing to build in villages just to fill in space is farming areas. So maybe over here and possibly somewhere over here and a couple of other spots maybe we can set up some farms that the villagers could in theory use. It's basically just a way to get rid of empty space. There is something so satisfying about looking at a giant field of wheat. Ever since they updated the texture of this in particular seed, it just looks so much better. I love it, it's great. So we have 3 little wheat patches dotted around the village, filling in the biggest of the open gaps. It was mainly this one over here, hence why it's so big. And as you can see for the wall design, we've just done a bunch of stone sort of cobbled together, or stone bricked together, I should say, all varying in height and size, which I think is perfect for surrounding a nice little farm. I'm now at the point in my village making order where it's basically done with the exception of one very important factor, which is landscaping. We have plenty of trees surrounding the village, but none actually planted inside of it. So we're going to get some trees planted down, probably going to get some bushes too, maybe a couple of ponds or rivers, stuff like that, just to kind of tie it all together. And hopefully it should blend in with the biome a little bit more. We have trees, we have bushes, we have our very own hot springs, as well as a cold springs, which is just a pond with a waterfall. And lastly, a very small bamboo jungle, shall we say. Now before we take a final look around at our glorious village, there is one finishing detail to add in. And that is to get some life around our village by spawning in some villagers to work here. Only work though, because I've not placed any beds, only workstations. They don't get to sleep. You're scaring me, sir. Please go away. You've been here for 5 seconds and you've already trampled crops. Way to go. Dude, your outfit is perfect for this place. I kind of wish I made them all shepherds now. With the building all done and the villagers in position, we're now ready to take one final look at this wonderful Japanese cherry blossom village. Enjoy. So there we go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little cinematic of the village. It was very fun to put together. And of course, I hope you enjoyed the video and the build as a whole. I am loving the 1.20 snapshots. I cannot wait to play in the full Trails and Tales update. And just making this little village today has definitely inspired me and excited me to do something a lot bigger when we finally get our hands on the update. I've been itching to make another custom village in my survival world, and I think when 1.20 finally comes out, I'm gonna do something like this, just a whole lot bigger. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy watching custom villages being created, especially if you like it done in survival, because that's what I'll be doing hopefully, please feel free to subscribe and, you know, check out some of my other videos. You might enjoy them. But thank you for watching this one. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.